Woohoo! Oh my god, yes, they never said that this day was gonna come. It's been needed this entire time, and I've been crying every single day that they've had their hands on the grasp of my favorite freaking franchise. 343 Industries is finally dead. They have evolved into a brand new studio called Halo Studio of all things, and they are a bit different than what they were previously, because they've undergone many of changes over the course of their tenure, especially within the past few years, with huge layoffs coming through. Obviously, Daddy Microsoft being very unhappy with how they've delivered their most recent title, Halo Infinite, to the point where a lot of the big named people, the top dogs in the industry, the studio, got laid off and have been replaced and tossed around like trash, bringing new people in, then getting removed. People who didn't really have the vision of what Halo pretty much was. And we see the remnants of the crap that they have left behind. Me, myself, I have grown up with Halo for as long as I remember. I mean, I even have this nice bad boy right here. It's a bit broken. I have to fix that piece. But clearly, I am a Halo fan. I have to fix that piece too. I've known Halo for as long as I have lived. I used to play with my cousin back in the not 360 days, the regular original Xbox days when Halo CE first came out, when I was just a wee lad. And then I got my own 360 when I was given the option on whether if I wanted a PS3 or 360, and I just loved Halo that much, I wanted to get it because I wanted to have my own copy of Halo 3. And I've met plenty of my friends that I have live streamed with. Lots of those guys that I still play with to this day, I met in Halo 3. I have plenty of memories playing along with that Halo Reach, Halo 3 ODST. And then when 343 came to extend the life of Halo, they didn't really do that good of a job. They kind of butchered it, but slowly. Halo 4 wasn't really that good. In my own opinion, I thought the campaign wasn't bad. There were definitely things about the campaign that could have definitely been improved, such as quick time eventing the final boss. But other than that, I thought the campaign was great. Multiplayer wasn't really that good. They completely ruined how Infection was. The concept of flood mode was fantastic, but Infection itself was dead, amongst a whole slew of other problems that Halo 4's multiplayer had. And then on top of that, we had Halo 5, which Halo 5's multiplayer was fantastic, in my opinion. I don't know why they decided to leave that dead and buried and not expand upon it in Halo Infinite. And then the campaign was for the dogs. That was absolutely terrible. Basically, Halo 4 for me and Halo 5 are polar opposites of each other. Good campaign, shit multiplayer for Halo 4, shit campaign, good multiplayer for Halo 5. And then Halo Infinite came out, which had a great flight, had great betas, and came out fairly strong despite the delays that it had, because it kind of, it looked a bit ugly upon some of their debuts that they released for the campaign and whatnot. But once they released it to the public after a delay, it grabbed a lot of people. It grabbed me. It was free to play. I enjoyed it. But when they didn't add anything on top of that for like 6 months. I mean, Forge didn't come out for so long. They delayed Forge in Halo 5, but it was only for, I believe, a couple of days. This took almost half a year to get the Forge out. Basically, Halo Infinite came out strong and then died on impact, and stung a lot of the people because they were thinking finally 343 has finally got their feet together, and they gave us a Christmas present with nothing inside of it. And so with that, people have associated 343 with having just a terrible reputation, killing a giant in the gaming industry, making me feel bad that I'm a Halo fan. They did a lot of bad things that ended up turning Halo into something to the side, no longer this big colossal thing that everybody knows, a household name. Nowadays, people just associate Master Chief with a freaking Fortnite skin. So today was or yesterday even, because of depending on how you look at it, was the HCS stuff. And they had a bunch of interviews and going on, and then whoa, we had this guy right here, Mr. Pierre Hintz. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I'm sorry, sir, but forgive me. I'm gonna go by your first name. Mr. Pierre here is now the studio head for 343 Industries, or so we think. Because now they've changed the name to Halo Studios. Well, why is that? Well, maybe they realize that 343 Industries has a really bad name to it, and that changing the name is going to give them somewhat of a fresh start, right? And people are out here saying, oh, it's a new name, it's not a new company, it's not new people. Dude, like I said, they had huge layoffs in the past, especially up top. So with Pierre being at the helm, this game, or the industry, could actually change for the better. I mean, this guy ended up being in charge for the Master Chief Collection, which was another flop from 343 Industries trying to combine all of the Master Chief titles at the time prior to Halo 5. And that game, when it debuted back in 2014, that game was so freaking bad, it barely ran. Owning the game was the best thing that you could do, and that was it. Because running it led nowhere. You could barely play some of the campaign games if they even freaking booted, and it was good luck playing multiplayer at all, no matter what you were doing, campaign or even like your multiplayer, Slayer, SWAT, whatever. The game as a whole sucked. Customization was crap. Internet connectivity was absolute dog water. And then in 2018, Pierre decided to take the helm, or 343 decided to put Pierre to take the helm of Halo Master Chief Collection, and it became a colossal success after that. 4 years of 343 trying to fix their shit and could not do it. And then as soon as Pierre was put at the helm of MCC, everything changed for the better. We got Halo Reach. We got everything being put onto Steam, so that way everybody on PC could enjoy the game too. Customization was improved. Internet connectivity was better, even though I did have a bug where sometimes it would crash my router, completely wiping out the internet in the house. But either way, I was actually able to play games on that. And Pierre being at the head of it just made a whole world of a difference. What he did within 1 year was something that 343 was struggling to do for 4. And then he just kept improving upon MCC for the many years after that, all the way up until they decided to stop updating a lot of the game and are just maintaining it. And now he's in charge of everything going on within 343 and is trying to do his best to do whatever improvements he can to Infinite. So clearly he knows what he's doing, and he knows the culture that he's trying to change. And one of those big changes is the engine that they're using. Halo has been using this thing called the BLAM engine since its incarnation. From Halo CE, Halo 2, some of their spin-offs, and then even had its offshoot for Destiny when Bungie decided they wanted to split, but because it was Bungie's engine, they were able to just make their own variant. And then 343 kept theirs, where they were able to make other things on top of that, like Halo 4, Halo 5, all the way up to Halo Infinite, and even the Forbidden Halo Online, which if you still have the Dorito launcher, whoo, man, you already know that you were desperate to play Halo on PC. But yeah, this engine has had such life put into it from the start, where it says on the graph, not from developed in 1997, all the way up to today, basically, where the last day that this thing will ever be used is right now with Halo Infinite, because all future installations of Halo are going to be through Unreal Engine 5. And when we look at a lot of the renderings that they've made through their Project Foundry, they look astonishing. Granted, They look astonishing because they're in Unreal Engine 5. And we have been seeing the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5 for so long. So a lot of foliage stuff, a lot of snowy stuff, which very iconic in the Halo industry, but also somewhat basic in the sense of what we've seen showcased already. But then the kicker is when they showed us the flood biome, the Blightlands biome, and holy cow, this screams Halo. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. And the fact that they have actually shown us the capabilities of a modern engine that has shown that it works and is not proprietary, right? Because if you worked for 343 Industries or Bungie, you had to learn the BLAM engine and the many different incarnations over time. This wasn't something that was public like Unreal. So being hired on and being forced to learn this proprietary engine takes a lot of time, especially when you're trying to make updated versions to keep up with the ever-growing industry and the graphical sense of what is trying to turn Halo into a modern game. So now what they've said in the videos is that they're like a tech company at the same time, where they have to invest people into building upon the engine while simultaneously trying to have people make the game. Cut the middleman out. They've removed the BLAM engine out of this whole thing, putting in a public resource, Unreal Engine 5, that has shown its capabilities that people can learn on their free time. And now you don't have to worry about having to build an engine and maintain it, but can now focus on games, which should have been from the start. We have been seeing the failures of this engine, and clearly with the slipspace variant of this engine, where it has sunk so much money into this game that they pretty much ruined it in a lot of ways. I haven't played Halo Infinite in some time, mainly because of how slow they've released things. And part of that is because of this thing that Pierre has said. Players' consumption for games have changed. Their expectation of how fast their content is available. I mean, I'm going to say something here that I think, in my opinion, is a bit counter to that. Related, but counter. I do believe that the consumption for content is different now than it was before. But let's look at what games were before. And now you keep using Halo as an example. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach. Halo 3 ODST was an additional add-on and all that stuff, even though it was standalone. But I'm going to use the main line ones and then our spin-off that was so big that it pretty much was a main line. Those games were so content rich, but with meaning. Meaningful content richness. And it kept people on. When the big DLC packs would come out that were huge, but these people that were playing the games at the time, myself included, didn't really need to have those big DLC things, because what was available at the time was enough to keep us playing for constant amount of hours over and over again. What has changed our consumption is the fact that over time, these games have been giving us less and less and less. And then once they figured out that they could paywall everything that they wanted, they started giving us these little bits of nuggets here and there with a price tag attached to it. So in a sense, what we have been given from the beginning was a full course meal and then starved. And over time, we have been allowed to have a morsel here and there, where if so long as we pay a certain amount of money, we can have this little feature here. We can have this little feature there. So yes, our consumption has changed, but the reason being is because the gaming industry, in Halo as an example, has starved us of the content that we were so used to before, that when we expect a game to give us the content that we're looking for, we're ravenous. We want that content immediately, and we want it at a nice big bulk of whatever you're willing to give, because we aren't used to we aren't used to having games that are empty. All right, we don't want games that are empty, that don't give us the content that we're looking for and to keep us there. We want this constant feeding because we haven't been fed for quite some time. And I'm happy that they're changing their entire focus and leaving 343's mantras behind, with Pierre saying that the recipes that were made for all of 343's games are the recipes, and now as Halo Studios, they're going to take those recipes and change it. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're completely throwing away everything that they've learned while being 343 Industries. They're just going to ensure that the things that worked, and the things that didn't, stay behind. Fingers crossed, though, because remember, this is a studio name change, and though there are different people at the head, we don't have anything to show that what they're telling us is true. There's no game, there's no content, there's nothing. We have Project Foundry. We have these little tech demos here and there that are showing us what they're capable of doing, but so long as we don't have a product to back up their claims, they're just words. Because we've listened to this same story over and over and over again with Bonnie Ross, from Frank O'Connor, every single person that has ever had the head of their studio at 343 Industries being the one that we see every single time they make a Vidoc. It hasn't been good. Empty words, empty promises, unfulfilled games, angry gamers. And that's with every single game that they've released over the course of their tenure. Halo Studios doesn't have anything to show for it. It's just words. And we've listened to it over and over again. And I want to be happy. I want to say Halo is saved. But I can't. Because where's the proof? Where's the beef? It's not there. But we'll have to wait. And I'll have to have hope. And I'm tired of being strung along every single time for a franchise that I've loved since I was a child. And I just want to be able to finally play a good Halo game that isn't making me feel like within the first 5 minutes that something's wrong. Either way, I'm hopeful that all of these changes that have been coming about, from the name change to the team change to the engine change, every single thing ends up leading to a product that is fruitful, that is fun, that is not nostalgic, but gives that nostalgic feeling, but at least in a modern sense, where something reminds me of the past, but I'm able to enjoy it now because it has been evolved into something that is worth enjoying. So I hope for the best for Halo Studios in making great Halo games in the future. I hope that everything that they've come up with over the course of their studies of Unreal Engine 5, that they will be able to bring us something fruitful. And that these aren't just empty words that we've been hearing since 2012, whenever 343 Industries decided to exist. Either way, that's pretty much it from me. If you like this kind of stuff, leave a like, subscribe to the video if you want more stuff like this. I have a Twitch channel. Go ahead and follow it too if you want. I'll leave it somewhere down below, and whenever I get a Twitch schedule going up. I'm pretty busy this month, so we'll see if I ever be able to have a chance to actually live stream. Other than that, I'll catch all of you guys later. Peace.